right, so welcome back to the UNECE SDA BOCCONI event. I'm Francesca Romana Rinaldi, and I'm leading the Monitor for Circular Fashion at SDA BOCCONI School of Management. So before we start and we enter into the Monitor for Circular Fashion moment and the call to action to the UNECE Sustainability Pledge that was joined by the companies of the Monitor for Circular Fashion, let me remind you that you can always access the platform, also here, those of you in presence, by actually clicking on the link that you just received via email, and online will be even easier for those of you following the event online. You can just click on the chat and share with us your questions, or send a message directly to the speaker, and you will always find available the program of all the days, so starting from today, day one. So please share your thoughts, and we'll take the chance either today, but also in the next days to answer all of you. So thank you again. So I'm very pleased, really, to see so many of you here in both rooms that we have for the event here in SDA BOCCONI, and also to see connected more than 250 people. So thank you so much. This means that the industry really understood the relevance of the topics that we are discussing today, so the relevance of traceability and transparency to accelerate the transformational change that we want to see in the industry. So I'm here today representing the companies of the Monitor for Circular Fashion that have been leading in the last months at SDA BOCCONI Sustainability Lab, but I'm also here as an UNECE expert. And this is what I'm about to introduce now, actually, the Circular Fashion Manifesto. And I won't be alone. I will be together with three of the many, actually, we're 14 companies representing the industry. Giorgio Ravasio will be with us, and also Danielle from Candiani Denim. Giorgio Ravasio is from Vivienne, Westwood instead. Danielle will be representing, so Giorgio Ravasio, Vivienne Westwood, Danielle Candiani Denim, and Luca Tonello from Dedagroup Stealth will be presenting to you the pledge. So let me start now by saying thanks, first of all, to all the partners of the Monitor for Circular Fashion for this 1 year of journey together. So thank you also for having decided to sign the Circular Fashion Manifesto. So the Monitor for Circular Fashion, let me introduce briefly the Monitor to you. What is it exactly? And these are the signatories companies. Once again, we have 3 representatives out of the many, but let me thank really all of them, and also the KPIs committee for this important project. So what is the Monitor? The Monitor is a community, a technological and scientific multi-stakeholder community that is involving leading ingredient brands, brands and retailers, service providers, part of SDA BOCCONI School of Management Sustainability Lab, powered by NLX. Which are the aims? There are many, as a matter of fact. Let me just highlight some of them. To identify circular fashion KPIs, we have been talking about the importance of identifying KPIs to measure the impact, we said before. So we are actually doing this, and defining requirements to scale up circularity projects. And this was mentioned also before by Elizabeth, so very important point, we agree, and enhance transparency and traceability for circularity. Encouraging governments as well to adopt harmonized policy framework to support circular fashion initiatives. We will produce every year, starting from this year, and the first report was launched actually yesterday. It's published now on the website of the Monitor, sdabocconi.it/circular fashion. You will find it there. And on the platform, you can also access the website of the Monitor. And this is the first report that has been published from the Monitor for Circular Fashion, where we suggest a roadmap to fashion companies with concrete actions to accelerate circularity. We'll discuss about the main findings of the report in a few minutes in the next panel, but for now, let me now leave the floor to the companies of the Monitor for Circular Fashion, Candiani Denim, Vivienne Westwood, and Dedagroup Stealth, representing all the companies. You will see the commitments now, the commitments of the companies with concrete actions and concrete specific KPIs. How they are organized. Let's enter into the Circular Fashion Manifesto already. So you see here that there are 7 key activities of the circular fashion value chain. We, of course, also refer to the 5 UNECE policy recommendation measures that have been mentioned before, and we will go more into it in the next panels. And basically, we put them together. So we wanted to actually have commitments that refer to all the activities of the circular value chain, but also the 5 measures of the policy recommendation, the UNECE policy recommendation. Let me read to you the pledge, because this has been the result, and I'm also looking at the companies of the Monitor for Circular Fashion now, of intense work, of many meetings, brainstorming sessions. So it has been really the result of a lot of work and discussions together. So let me actually read your own words. So the companies participating in the Monitor for Circular Fashion commit to gather information required to positively boost progress towards sustainability, and more importantly, reduce their negative impact on our planet, enhance circularity and sustainability of value chains through traceability and transparency, implement circular business models and circular business processes along their value chains, adopt common indicators, common, it's an important word, to measure progress and, on circularity in their value chains and report the results, encourage high-quality waste management, raise public awareness and educate all relevant stakeholders on the positive impacts of sustainable and circular production and consumption, and exchange experiences and cooperate with other multi-stakeholder circular initiatives. So let me leave the floor now, entering into the real commitments into the eco-design activity. Let me leave the floor to Danielle Arzaga, Sustainability Manager at Candiani Denim. So Danielle, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesca, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the participants. My name is Danielle Arzaga, and I'm the Sustainability Manager at Candiani Denim. For those who don't know us, Candiani is a vertically integrated denim mill who has been operating roughly 50 kilometers outside of Milan in a nature reserve park, the Parco del Cecchino, for the last 83 years. We are participants in the Monitor for Circular Fashion, providing guidance and feedback as an ingredient brand and as actors upstream in the fashion value chain. I will now walk us through the first few circular value chain activities and their related commitments and examples of KPIs that have been tailored for the fashion industry and that focus on 2 main areas: circularity and value chain traceability. Scusa. Non so, I don't know how it goes. Oh, there we go. So the first circular value chain activity, eco-design. Here, the partner companies of the Monitor for Circular Fashion commit to liaise with multi-stakeholder initiatives focusing on circular or eco-design. A few examples of what this could look like in practice is a mapping of multi-stakeholder eco-design initiatives, or the creation of dedicated hubs or forums to promote diffusion of knowledge and best practices. Sample KPIs that we have identified are percentage of multi-stakeholder collaborations that apply eco-design principles on a total multi-stakeholder collaborations, percentage of kilograms, meters, units provided with repairing services, or percentage reduction of energy use of recycling versus linear processes. This commitment and these KPIs align with the UNECE policy recommendation measures. Number 1, policy actions, norms, and standards. Number 3, research and development. And number 5, multi-stakeholder collaborative initiatives. The second circular value chain activity, raw material sourcing. In this case, the cotton, synthetic, and wool value chains were used as guidance to identify these commitments and KPIs. In terms of raw material sourcing, the partner companies of the Monitor for Circular Fashion commit to measure traceability by identifying clear and relevant KPIs. We also commit to increase research on sustainable and circular materials, and finally commit to reducing textile waste. Some examples of actions that could take place in order to realize these commitments are the creation of platforms that connect demand and supply of pre-consumer and post-consumer waste, or the creation of zero-waste policies and incentives. Some of the KPIs that we identified here include percentage of pre-consumer waste volume on total material recovered for circular projects in the year, percentage of raw materials that include relevant and reliable data and information shared for disclosure available for partners of the value chain. And finally, percentage of raw materials that are sustainably certified, such as animal welfare or organic certifications. And these are aligned with the UNECE policy recommendation measures. Number 1, policy actions, norms, and standards. Number 3, research and development. And number 4, awareness and education. The third and fourth circular value chain activities, the manufacturing of semi-finished and finished products. For brevity, I will not mention each one here, but the partner companies of the Monitor for Circular Fashion identified committing to enhancing joint commitments on traceability. And we commit to perform and provide training on responsible manufacturing. A few examples of what this could look like in practice are legislation that aim to advance traceability and calls to action on traceability and transparency, such as the UNECE's Sustainability Pledge. Some of the KPIs that we identified here are percentage of traced kilograms, meters, units on total number of kilograms, meters, or units, number of phases traced on the total phases covered in the value chain, percentage of recycled water on total production, percentage of yield on total raw materials used in the year, and percentage of byproducts recovered for circular economy practices on total materials used in the year. These commitments and KPIs align with the UNECE policy recommendation measures. Number 3, research and development. Number 4, awareness and education. And number 5, multi-stakeholder collaborative initiatives. And now I will hand things over to Mr. Giorgio Ravasio. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for the invitation. I'm representing here Vivienne Westwood, Italian branch of Vivienne Westwood, and its group as Motivation. And our company was founded almost 50 years ago as a fashion design company. And we grew up managing distribution. And lately, in the last 10 years, we started managing internally the direct production. For this reason, the Sustainability Pledge was an amazing opportunity to share experience and to learn a lot in being able to improve what we would like to reach and in terms of processes. And we take a lot of information, we take a lot of experience, and we take commitment. And about logistics, warehousing, and transportation, we commit to adopt agreed methodologies to measure data related to transportation in order to achieve decarbonization starting from Scope 1. In this activity, we have identified the sample KPIs that are measuring the emissions of the transportation in tons number of units produced. and then to disclose this information. And disclosing was something that is important not just to promote the result, but also to try to understand how to commit more and to improve this activity. And this is completely in compliance with the UNECE policy recommendation number 5, that is the multi-stakeholder collaborative initiative. And because when we are talking about the supply chains, we need to create a coordination and a cooperation on all of this activity. In terms of distribution, wholesale, and retail and e-tailing activity, that is something that we were mostly used to do in our historical activity. We commit to engage and educate all relevant stakeholders, including final users, on responsible consumption. This is something that we were used to do in terms of slogan, in launching campaign, and in the activism of Day01 Westwood, and in the activism of the company itself. And in this sense, we think that from the slogan, we need also to improve the technical information that we can share with all the consumer and the final users. And also, we commit to respect the guidelines on sustainability claims developed by UNECE. And for this reason, we have identified sample KPIs that are percentage of kilograms, meters, units, with additional sustainability information on the products. Second, number of awareness and education campaigns on end-of-life target in the final users, and percentage of repaired kilograms, meters, or units on total kilogram, meters, on units on returns. And all these activities are connected to and complying with the UNECE policy recommendation number 4, that is connected to awareness and education. And I would close this speech saying something that we are used to listen in the company, because one of the founders of the company, that is Mr. Caro Damario, is used to say that fashion is an excuse to do something else. And educating the people on these important issues, we think that is something else that the planet needs now to be reached and to be shared. So thank you, and I'm pleased to leave the floor now to Mr. Luca Tonello.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you for inviting me. Okay, sorry. So I have to introduce the last point of the Circular Manifesto, that is the end-of-life services, recycle, reuse, and regeneration. First of all, I would like to represent here the part of the company of the Circular Manifesto company that are the service provider company. Stealth is a product widely used and known in the market for the master data for production. But we also represent here companies like Temera for traceability, Intesa for data analysis, and PLM Impianti that gives data to the company. Because, as you have seen, all is measured by data, and the data are provided by the IT services. So it was very useful for the Circular Manifesto having company attending not only brands and producer and manufacturer, but also service provider. The last point is the most challenging, because it's the future of the circular fashion and the title of the manifesto, so the number 7. So all the company, we commit to engage and educate the final user to extend the life of the products. Some simple KPI that we would like to address is percentage of kilogram, meters of units entirely made with biodegradable or compostable raw material on the total kilogram meter units produced. Or the percentage or post-consumer waste per destination, reusing, repurposing, recycle, downcycle, landfill, incineration, or waste to energy. One other simple KPI is the percentage of collected at the end of life, expressed in kilogram meters of units. Of course, these measurements are guided by UNECE policy recommendation number 46, the measure, and the number 4, awareness and education. I would like to thank you, everybody, for the work done, and also I would like to say that the work is not ended. We will continue the monitor for circular fashion in the next year by applying this KPI, using some test case with the company attending, and improving new business model that will came out from this very important movement of sustainability in the fashion world. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Luca. Thank you all for presenting the Circular Fashion Manifesto. So Luca and all of you, you mentioned how important it is to educate the consumers, raise the awareness of the consumers. So that's a very important point, and we have also been discussing quite a lot about how hard it is actually to engage them, to measure the results of the engagement. So we still need to work on the KPIs, definitely. We will add some, we'll revise the KPIs, but that's definitely an important point. And this brings me actually to launching a video which will be representing the voice of the consumers that in the report actually we always refer to them as final users. We never talk about consumers. So let's hear now the voice of the final users, and I would like to leave the floor, and I'm really pleased to do it actually, to Guru, and she's a master student of SDA BOCCONI. She used to be actually, she's an alumna of the MAFED, Master in Fashion Experience and Design Management. So I would like to leave the floor to Guru now. She will share the Millennials' perspective on transparency and traceability for sustainable and circular fashion.
In September 2019, Greta Thunberg took the stage at the UN Climate Action Summit and famously said, "We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? You are failing us." Her speech moved the younger generation globally, and the COVID-19 pandemic a few months later brought conversations about what is important to the end users to the forefront. I am no Greta Thunberg, but I'm here today to tell you that you may have lost our trust. But we, the millennials, the younger generation, the end users, are ready for all of us to try again. We're ready for you to stop working towards indefinite financial growth and start working towards an economy that puts back what it takes out. We know that if governments can subsidize fossil fuels for decades, you can now choose to work with corporations to fund and invest in, prioritize the development of regenerative solutions for people and the environment. We have no tolerance for hollow promises and greenwashing. We are ready for transparency. We are ready for engagement and participation in real change. We look forward to seeing you accelerate the pace of traceability and transparency in the garment and footwear industry through the UNECE Sustainability Pledge. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Guru, for this quite strong message. We got it, and this is the voice of the millennials. We need to listen to them. This is our future, so thank you.